441 on the calendar in the matter of Hoffman versus Hoffman. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mr. Hoffman, the defendant is your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've tried to understand your complaint as well as your mother's countersuit. You claim that you sold to your mother certain restaurant equipment, a freezer and some other equipment, and that she owes you money on that equipment.
Yes, ma'am.
Your mother says she's not only paid for that equipment, the freezer doesn't work, and not only doesn't she owe you any money, but you actually owe her money.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What was this equipment? Where did it come from? Why would you sell it?
Actually, I owned a restaurant in Salisbury, Maryland. Was getting out of the restaurant business. I had been working 16, 18 hours a day. It was just too much. I was losing my marriage, my 2 small children. Had called a restaurant equipment place, set up arrangements for them to come and buy all the equipment from me. My mother steps in and says, "Let me buy the equipment from you. I may want to give it a go. I mean, you've worked so hard putting this business together from the ground up. We'd hate to see, you know, the family lose this."
What kind of a restaurant was it?
It was a carry-out sub pizza and deli type restaurant.
Okay. Were you making any money?
A little bit of money, not a lot. It wasn't worth all the time we had to put in. Put out a lot of bills, put out over $30,000 for the equipment.
Okay. Did she give you any money?
She gave me $4,000, signed a bill of sale for a list of equipment, which I have here.
I'd like to see it, please.
That's a copy of the bill of sale.
So she purchased, according to you, all of this equipment for $8,000. According to this, she gave you a deposit of $5,000.
That was correct. I only actually received $4,000 cash, Your Honor. $1,000 I gave to her to help her with startup costs.
This says, this contract of sale says $5,000.
Yes, ma'am.
With a balance due and owing of $3,000.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what it says. And then it says that you additionally sold her a freezer for $3,000. Did she pay you anything towards the freezer?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mrs. Hoffman, let me hear from you.
Hey, Your Honor. This started out, Joe told part of the truth. This started out, my son had 3 businesses in Salisbury, Maryland. He was losing his family and his businesses because of a crack cocaine addiction. I stepped in, being his mother, trying to help him save at least this one business. He reneged on his lease, was locked out of the building. He could not get to his equipment. I paid the money for Joe to get into the building, the $1,000. That's the $1,000 that Joe was talking about. I didn't want this business. I quit my day job 2 years ago to enjoy my farm and my horses, Your Honor. I was trying to help my son. I wanted my son to seek counseling for his drug addiction. He's lost everything.
All right, so you agreed to go into his business to save the business.
Yes, ma'am. Hopefully that he would get it back.
Okay. Did you sign a contract with him with regard to the equipment?
I signed this. Joe told me the same thing that he gave you. I have the notarized copy and the serial numbers.
Okay.
Joe told me it was a thriving business, and I agreed to the $1,000 a month because I thought, he showed me his books, he was making $90,000 in 6 months' time, that I would be able to pay back this at $1,000 increments. I have registered tapes to prove documentation that I only make, some days, only $50 a day.
Mrs. Hoffman, that's not his
Yes,
problem. That's something, if you're going into a business, you're supposed to check the books very carefully.
I trusted my son, Your Honor.
Well, that's a problem. How can you trust your son if you say he's got a serious drug problem?
I know.
And clearly you were dealing at arm's length with him with regard to this transaction because you drew up a contract, you drew up serial numbers for all the items. This was not a, I'm going to help you out, I trust you. This is business here. Let me see your books. He showed you his books.
Showed me his book.
Showed you his book. And according to his book, he made a lot more than certainly you were making.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an accountant go over the books?
No, ma'am.
Did you have somebody come and sit in the restaurant every day for about a week to see what kind of traffic there was?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Well, that's what you do if you buy a restaurant. That's what you do if you buy a restaurant. How much money do you still owe him on the equipment?
The freezer wasn't due a payment until March.
Of 2002?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, so you don't owe him anything really on the freezer because the payments aren't due yet. Is that right, sir?
That's not correct, ma'am. She defaulted on the rest of the loan. I was due a payment December 30th, as per the signed notarized agreement of $1,000. The freezer was, I lent to my mother.
No, sir. This says she was to pay you in increments of $1,000 until paid. That's for the freezer. Starting March 30th, 2002, until May 30th, 2002, a total of 3 payments. So
Yes,
she
Your
doesn't
Honor.
owe you any money yet on the freezer.
And it was verbally between myself and my mother that I would allow her to pay the freezer after she paid me for the rest of the agreement.
Doesn't say that here, sir.
That was verbal when she drew the contract up.
Let me
Your Honor.
explain something to you, sir. When you have a contract, anything outside the contract that's verbal, courts don't consider. Courts say, forget it, so strike the freezer. She's got a little bit of time before she has to pay that first $1,000 payment. Now, what else do you owe him?
The refrigerator is leased. The leasing company has contacted me. Joe owes money on that. And I found out yesterday morning that they're coming to pick up the refrigerator unless I can pay him for it. And the signs on the building, I've had to pick up that bill because Joe told me that the signs were paid for, and I've had to pay that. And I
Wow.
feel I don't owe him any money because everything I've had to pay out. That was his bills.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Joseph Hoffman says his mother, Doris Hoffman, owes for the cost of restaurant equipment. Doris says Joseph is a crack addict, and buying the equipment was an attempt to save his business.
Go ahead.
My mother knew that there was 2 leased items. One was a refrigerator, one was an ice machine. She knew exactly how much the leases were. We sat down at the kitchen table and figured out how much the bills would be for the leases. She knew there was $300 owed on one sign, $300 owed on the other sign.
How long had you had this business, sir?
I had the business for just about a year, Your Honor.
Okay. Tell me something about your counterclaim, Mrs. Hoffman.
Your Honor, I don't feel I owe Joe the money. I feel...
Owing, I'll take care of in a minute. You have a counterclaim for $4,900.
Yes, ma'am.
For what?
It's for bills and that I've had to pick up and pay his because they were going to take the signs off the building. A microwave that he had a piece of aluminum foil in for the fuse to keep the microwave running. It's for 2 car top signs that he sold me. And yes, Your Honor, I did know he owed $350 on one, but I did not know about the 2 exterior signs that the man was there to take down off the building the day I opened my door.
That you should have known. Mrs. Hoffman, it's always a problem when you're in business with family.
Make sure you get everything in writing.
No, you're supposed to know. If you're going into a business venture, you're supposed to exercise due diligence. If you looked into all of his books, you would have had to have seen payments that he was making to a sign company, right? You would have had to have seen payments that he's making for equipment. And then you say, what is this for? All right, let me see the contract. How much was it originally? How much is owing on it? And then you make a judgment. And you can't say, well, I trusted him, he's my son. This is a business venture. Your mother doesn't owe you for the freezer yet. Now, with regard to the other payments, those were supposed to be completed for the remainder of the equipment by next month.
Yes, ma'am. She's on a payment plan. She's already missed December's payment, and January's payment is coming up.
Well, it says for 3 months starting in December. Did she pay you December's payment?
No, ma'am.
And that was for $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
And then January's payment, she didn't pay you.
No, ma'am.
But that's not due yet.
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's correct.
So far, she only owes you $1,000.
That's correct.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It hurt very much to have to bring my mother to court, and I hope that she can finish paying me the money she owes me so we can get our families back together.
A lot of things didn't come out that should have came out, and my son does have a drug addiction problem.
And now the next case.
All parties on Shaw versus Jones. Step forward, please.
50-year-old Bonnie Shaw is suing her former friend, 42-year-old bartender Sherry Jones, for the value of items she sold at a garage sale. Bonnie says Sherry pocketed the money.
Miss Shaw, you and the defendant were friends. Is that right?
Yes.
And according to your complaint, You gave her some things to sell at a garage sale.
Yeah.
These were things that you originally had at a garage sale that you had at your house.
Correct.
That you were unable to sell.
Correct.
It is your claim that she either kept the stuff or sold it and kept the money, and you want the value of the property that you gave to her to sell.
It was garage sale items and other items that she had borrowed, and I brought her son with me, her abandoned son, who can testify that to the quantity of items.
When did you have your garage sale?
In September and the beginning of October.
Over how many days?
5, 6.
And where did you get this stuff from?
It was 5 generations worth of items, plus relatives and neighbors gave me things. It was massive amounts, Your Honor. Furniture, some antiques, bedding books, clothing for every age, sexes, sizes, dishes, household items, thousands of items.
Explain to me how the property came to be in Miss Jones's possession.
When the sale was over, she told me to rent a U-Haul. She would bring it to her house. She had a great location. She said that she could sell sand to the Arabs and snow to the Eskimos, and that she's had several
You didn't say
yards.
it that way.
Shh, don't speak. You'll have a chance. Go ahead.
So I, upon her insistence, rented a U-Haul truck and drove it to her house. Her son was there, helped unload it. She ran the sale at her place. When I asked about money, it was one excuse after another. At that time, I did not realize that she was planning on disappearing from town again. A few things were returned.
What did she return?
A few books. I had well over 1,000 books. She returned some. Your Honor, this is a little more complicated than just yard sale stuff. I mean, this lady has the habit of ripping everybody off. She disappears. She leaves town. She abandons her child.
Miss Shaw, that may be interesting. This is a court.
Understood.
You have to prove a case. Did you make an itemized list of everything that you gave to her in the U-Haul?
I have a generalized list. It would be
I'm not
impossible to
interested.
itemize all the thousands of items, Your Honor.
Well, then how in the world am I going to make a decision? Generalized list is no good. You check off from the list. I mean, that's business. I assume you were in this to make money, right? And to unload a lot of junk from your house.
It wasn't junk, Your Honor.
Well, there's
Yes.
a lot of stuff in there that, madam, listen to me. I know why people have garage sales. I've had those. Put a lot of stuff out and you hope that somebody wants to buy you a 15-year-old sled or children's ice skates or some picture that you can't look at in your house that's, you know, that's there. Sometimes an old frame that has a broken glass. I know what goes out in garage sales. This is not an estate sale, but you have to have a list. Here, you say you want the return of value of personal property, and you say it's worth $1,625. Well, that's a very specific amount. And how do you come up with that specific amount if you have no specific list?
The letter I wrote to her has specific items in it.
Well, let's see. Let me take a look at the specific items.
That's the letter she totally ignored. I advised her that I would take her to small claims court unless she returned the items or the value thereof.
Mostly you talk about in this letter about things she borrowed from you, not about the things that she allegedly took for the garage sale. You sold well over $582 worth of goods, yet I was only reimbursed $82. Then you go on to talk about a shelving unit that you loaned to her, a blue shelving unit. When did you loan her a blue shelving unit?
Before the sale, she wanted to have it to set things up on it. And it was reiterated repeatedly that that was not for sale. I wanted it back.
So where is that?
Your Honor, I have no idea. I left some things in the garage when I left. There was like a shelving, there was an old broken door, a broken window. Furthermore, when she says thousands of items, there was a lot of them she left at her house that didn't even bring over to my house. When the stuff was returned, half the time she was sleeping.
How many times did you return some things to the house?
I made at least 12 carloads with my Monte Carlo.
Her son will attest to what was there. He knows that she was bragging one day of over $600 that she brought in from the sale. I did not receive this
That's
money.
A lie.
You want to step
That's
up?
a lie.
Just a minute.
I never took his $600 for no.
I'm talking
Just
about
a
my
minute.
600.
Shh. You're her son? Who do
Yes.
you live with?
I live with my stepfather and this lady here.
Had you been living with your mother?
I was until she decided to leave.
And then you moved in with the plaintiff.
Me and my stepfather moved in.
So when she left, her husband moved in with the plaintiff.
after she left.
Shh, I don't want to hear from you.
He couldn't afford it anymore with just the two of us there, so she offered to help us out, and we've been living there.
Is your stepfather renting a room from her, or do they live together?
No, we rent upstairs there.
So the two of you sleep upstairs?
Yep.
Now, what do you know about this property?
I remember books and some clothes and stuff like that.
How many boxes of books do you remember?
No, not off the top of my head.
All right, let's get back to the things that you say she borrowed. A fancy lace black slip top.
The borrowing that top was for an anniversary party, and the dress that's mentioned is also in this photo.
Did you borrow dresses from her?
No, I didn't, Your Honor. It's a black dress. She had it in her garage sale before her belongings left the garage sale. My daughter gave her $1.50, and she accepted it. As far as the black cami lacy thing, yes, I have that. I was told not to go near her house. I was told not to call there. How do I give it to her?
Borrowed slippers. What are the borrowed slippers?
Your Honor, I know this all sounds really trivial. And
It does sound trivial, madam.
I mentioned that in the letter to her, but what you have to understand is that I am not used to being ripped off like this, especially by a friend. This was all a con on her part to line her pockets. She'd been planning on leaving town for months, and nobody
Madam,
even knew about it.
You say it sounds petty. It certainly does. My white hamper that belonged to my grandmother.
Yes.
Well, when did she borrow your white hamper?
In September, October.
What'd she borrow your white hamper for?
So one of the kids could have a place to throw their clothes.
One of her children?
Yes.
Then that's not borrowed.
It was on loan. She was going to get something else.
Oh, please. Come on. Come on. We're talking about nonsense here. Borrowed purple sheets. What would she borrow purple sheets for?
For her bedroom, she wanted to change the look.
And you're saying that they're borrowed?
Yes, ma'am, it was the whole set.
Just a second. I never had a friend that I said, here, you can use my sheets, borrow them, and then you can then give them back to me when you're finished. Miss Shaw, you're angry about something.
I am not angry, Your Honor.
And it may be that she ripped you off. That's very possible. But if you're in business, then what you do is you inventory. She gave you, you say $82. Well, according to this young man, according to your witness, the only thing that he recalls emptying out of the U-Haul were boxes of books and old clothes. And it's very possible that you gave her more stuff. But without a proper inventory, I cannot help you. No, that is not an inventory.
There was a stove, there was...
He doesn't remember unloading a stove.
He's probably as nervous as I am.
Well, you don't look nervous at all. And he's not nervous at all. If he had to take a stove out of a U-Haul, that would be something that you would remember, which he didn't tell me. Miss Shaw, whatever problems you have with this lady, I would suggest we get over them. And it's very possible she sold stuff at her garage sale that she had and didn't give you the money. The court can't help you unless you keep records.
I understand that there was just way too many items to mention, and her
Then
own
I
son can
can't-
attest to the money
if
that she
there-
bragged about getting.
If you can't itemize what they are because there are way too many items, I can't help you. Period. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Oh, excuse me, 1 second. I want you to put in an envelope the black lacy thing
Okay.
and mail it to her.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Thank you.
Everybody have a seat.
Mrs. Norkler, this is your 4-year-old.
Yes.
And it is your claim that your 4-year-old was bitten by that dog, neighbor's dog, while in the care of the defendant's 9-year-old son.
That's correct.
And you want the defendant to pay you $5,000 for the dog bite, as well as the emotional distress arising from the dog bite. Is that right?
Yes.
The defendant says that your 4-year-old provoked the dog, and she's counterclaiming because she says that you have caused her child some measure of emotional distress, and she's also counterclaiming in the amount of $5,000. So since I assume you weren't present, is that right, when your son was bitten by this dog?
Not at the time of the bite, no.
Who other than your 4-year-old witnessed it?
My witness and my daughter and some other people who aren't here today.
Okay, I'll hear from your witness. Would you step up, please? Tell me your name.
Yvette Orozco Contreras.
Are you a neighbor?
Yes, I'm their neighbor.
When did this incident occur?
On the 11th of March,
At what time of the day?
I'd say about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And were you outside when this happened?
Yeah, I was in my driveway.
Tell me what you saw.
Well, I saw the kids playing outside. Michael was outside with his dog.
Okay, this is Michael.
Uh-huh.
Michael was outside where with his dog?
In the street in front of my house.
In front of your house?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And he was just playing around with the dog. And then after a while, he just, I guess, was scaring the kids with the dog.
How was he scaring the kids with the dog?
He was telling the dog to say, sick 'em or get 'em.
Okay. And how many children were around him?
At that time, I'd say about 7.
Was this little boy one of those children?
Yes.
What is his name?
Houston.
So Houston was there too. Was Houston riding his bike or was
Houston was riding a scooter.
And where was he riding his scooter?
Also in front of my house.
In the street or on the sidewalk?
On the street. We live in a cul-de-sac, so all the kids play right up on the cul-de-sac.
So it was in the street?
Uh-huh.
Where the cars are?
Yes.
Okay. Who was supervising Houston?
I was out there watching them. And other parents across the street were watching their kids too.
And what about Mrs. Norkler? Was she outside watching her son?
No.
At the time the bite happened, I wasn't out there.
You were
However,
not
I
out
was
there.
looking in on them, and my husband was home also.
But neither of you were
We
out
weren't
there?
actually outside, no.
Okay. Then what did you see?
Well, after a while, I saw Michael let go of the dog.
Michael let go of the dog. How did he do that?
He just let go of the leash, and the dog jumped on Houston.
Did you see him actually being bitten by the dog?
I saw the dog do something. I wasn't so close to see the dog bite him, but I did see him do something.
And then what did the dog do?
I didn't pay attention to what the dog did. Houston ran towards me, and I looked at his leg and took him to his parents.
When you saw Michael outside with the dog and you saw him saying, you know, sick him, did you say anything to him at that point?
I really didn't say anything because he was outside for quite a while with his dog, and the dog didn't seem to be dangerous until he started saying those words.
Well, once he started to say those words, did you go over to him and say to him, stop saying that?
No, I didn't.
Well, didn't you think it was a dangerous situation?
I did, but since the dog didn't seem harmful to me, I didn't make a big deal about it.
Okay. How close were the children to the dog when you saw them outside?
They were right next to him.
And did the dog seem friendly? Were they petting the dog?
They were all riding their scooters, their skates, all that, and the dog was just in the midst of them.
Okay. Let's say you're this young man with his dog. How close were the other children?
I'd say to about the end of this table.
So just 2 or 3 feet?
Yeah.
Did this young man tell the children to get away from them if they were riding around on their scooters?
No.
He didn't?
He was playing with them, too.
How was he playing with them?
He was just running around with his dog, too.
So they were all sort of playing together?
Yeah.
Was he the oldest child out there?
No.
Were these two the youngest children out there?
Yes.
How old are your children?
I have a 6-year-old son that was outside playing.
And were you outside at all times watching him?
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Norkler, when your neighbor brought your son in, did you examine his leg? I think she said it was his leg.
Yes.
Okay, what did you see?
I saw that it was bleeding, that there was a scratch. My son was crying.
But I want you to tell me about this scratch. Is that a
The bite.
photograph
Yes,
of
we
it?
have a
Yes.
photograph.
I'd
we
like to
took
see it, please.
shortly after you came in. And Your Honor?
Yes.
I know you can't see very well from that picture, and we had cleaned up what blood there was, but as of now, a month later, he does have a scar on his ankle from that.
Well, I'd like to see that. Houston, could you come up here for a second, please? As a matter of fact, come right up here, Houston.
He also had a scratch to his elbow from where the dog jumped on him.
What happened to your foot?
He just scratched me.
The dog scratched you?
Yeah,
Did it hurt?
yeah.
Could you sit up there for a second? Because, you know, my eyes aren't so good anymore. Can you show me your leg? Where the dog scratched you? Oh, I see. Just a little tiny scratch. Doesn't look like scratch as bad as what happened to your eye. What happened to your eye, Houston?
I just fell on this. Well, we fell on the sidewalk.
Is that what happened to your eye over here?
Yeah.
When was that?
The biggest one happened the day after Houston was attacked by that dog. The little one happened like a month before it happened in front of the property she's renting.
Okay, Houston, why don't you go and sit down? Miss Norkler, how did the large injury happen to your son's face?
He was riding a scooter that he's ridden a lot of times, and the side of the scooter, the padding had come off of the scooter, and that was what went into his face and caused that injury.
Where was he when this happened?
He was right in front of our home.
Where were you?
I was at work.
I was home in Houston that day.
Were you home inside the house when it happened?
We just got home and we...
Just answer my question.
No, I wasn't.
Where were you?
In the garage, heading into the house.
So you were not outside with your son when he was riding his scooter?
No.
One would think that you folks would have learned a little bit not to leave 4-year-old outside unsupervised. So he has 2 injuries in the course of one day. One seems much more severe than the other.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Yes.
Part of the reason why sometimes I'm not outside, sometimes they're not outside is because we know each other very well, and
were you outside when the injury occurred to his eye?
No, I wasn't.
So you weren't outside supervising, is that right?
No, but I'm saying on the day that the dog
I'm
bit.
not talking about the dog. I'm talking about the next day, where the serious injury happened. Not about the day where he got a little scratch on his leg. The day where he got a very, very bad injury. How many stitches did he have there?
8.
Didn't have any stitches on his leg, did he?
No, he did not.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert and Kimberly Knockler say their son, 4-year-old Houston, was attacked by their next-door neighbor's dog.
Okay. Did you take him to the emergency room to take a look at that scratch on his leg?
No, we didn't.
So that you were not concerned that the dog required a tetanus shot or anything else?
We knew that he had already had his tetanus shot and he was up to date because of the injury that happened to his eye in front of their property like a month before.
So you're telling me that there was another injury that your son had while he was outside?
He's had a total of 2 injuries that were accidents and 1 injury that was intentional.
What was intentional?
The dog bite.
Dog bite was not intentional. I don't even know if it was a bite. I can't tell if it was a bite or a scratch.
The dog was quarantined.
Just listen to me. You can't tell whether that was a scratch. It looks like a scratch. It looks like a healed scratch. There are no tooth marks in there, nor do I see any in this photograph. So I don't know whether the dog scratched him or bit him. It seems to me if you believe that your dog is bitten, the first thing that you do is you take the child to an emergency room, and the emergency room makes an evaluation as to whether or not the child was bitten or scratched. There is, in fact, a difference. This is not a $5,000 injury, folks.
It's intentional. He told that dog to sick my son. And she has admitted to that.
Listen to me. That's not what she said. She said he was saying to the dog, sick him. There were a whole bunch of children around there. He is also an unsupervised, how old are you?
9.
9-year-old. Just like your son was an unsupervised 4-year-old. I mean, I read it in the paper. The defendant says that her son was, in fact, supervised. She says most of the time this time was different. It's always the times that are different that create a problem.
Right. Not. He's unsupervised a lot. He has harassed a lot of kids.
Let me explain something to you. I'm looking at his face. He doesn't have the scars on his face that your son has from being outside, unsupervised, and injured twice on his face. I mean, this was an unfortunate incident. He did the wrong thing. There's no question he did the wrong thing. But what I gather here is there has become a vendetta because of that, and that is outrageous. You claim she says bad things about you. You claim that she says bad things about you, and you say that there's an intentional act on her part because her 9-year-old, who was outside playing with a bunch of kids, did a really stupid thing, and your son got scratched.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Judge Scheinlin, I would state that it was an intentional act on his part when he was saying sick him, sick him. She has admitted to that. I don't believe that she wanted this to happen,
So
but
then why
I believe that he...
He's 9 years old. Your son is 4.
Yes.
Right. You think he's
My
an adult?
baby.
What? That's hers. That's hers.
And I don't have a problem with that.
So then
but
why would
she's
you
left
sue her?
him-
Then let me ask you a question. So then why would you sue her, your neighbor, over a scratch for $5,000? Why would you do that?
My son came to the door. He was crying. He was bleeding. He told him, sick him. She
I
admits
already
to
heard that. It's not what I'm asking you.
Because of the intentional nature, because of the fact that it is very upsetting that somebody would tell a dog to sick a child.
You're absolutely right. If an adult did it and the dog did it, you put him in jail. 9-year-old does it, they're not so smart.
She knows that he has a habit of harassing other children in the neighborhood.
Well, madam, if you know that that's true, then when your witness saw him outside with the dog and was standing outside supervising all these children, she should have said something like, I suggest you bring Houston and your daughter inside because he's outside with that dog and not doing the right thing. She wasn't concerned. She just told me they all seemed to be playing. Isn't that right?
They did all seem to be playing, but he was taking advantage of that.
Then why didn't you stop him? Then why didn't you do anything? What kind of supervision is that?
He does not listen. He's attempted to take my daughter to the pool.
Madam,
she cannot swim.
Then you bring your children inside and you speak to the mother later.
The mother does not listen either. She knows her kid does this.
I'm going to get to the counterclaim for a second because you ain't hearing me. Now, you have a counterclaim that I believe is a little bit of a nonsense, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me about it. Go ahead.
Okay. Michael has not, first of all, played outside since the incident, only in our backyard. And on Sunday, we were getting ready to leave. He said, can I go out front? The kids are out there. I said, sure, just for a few minutes. I'm on my way out. Michael walked out front. Kimberly was in her driveway. There was a bunch of kids out front, and Kimberly told my son, watch it, kids. Here comes the trashy kid. My son came in the house very upset. I walked back out with him. I said, let's go. We need to go. And I said, Kimberly, I don't understand why you would call a child a name, being a teacher. And then I said, I don't have time to get into it right now. My contractor's waiting for me. I have to go. And she said, wait, let's get into it right now. And she went off. She went off yelling, saying, I'm neglecting my kid, called me a... And she just kept going off. And I said, this isn't any way a teacher should act. You're supposed to set an example for our kids. If you want to talk. We don't yell and scream. She said, I better get into my car before she beats me. And I left.
Nasty neighboring. If it's true, it's nasty neighboring. It's not worth $5,000, and neither is the dog's scratch.
Right. I do have some stuff I'd like to submit to the court, please.
Go ahead.
One regarding the police report, which is actually contradicting what Yvette's testimony is and what she told the police.
She's being dishonest. That is a reinvention of history. I did not state those things to her. I did not call her child a name. That did not happen at all.
What did you say?
All I told my children to be careful.
Really?
I didn't say trashy.
Just a second.
And she called the cops to my home, what, 5 or 6 hours later?
Can I read this, please?
Please.
Quiet.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what the police said, Ms. Contreras, that you told them, and these quoted in the police report. I asked her if she heard Michael sick the dog on Houston, and she said no, he didn't intend for this to happen. I asked her what she meant, and she said Michael did not intend for this to happen, he was just playing around. I asked her if she was positive that this was an unintended event, and she said she was positive. Did you tell that to the police?
I did. What I meant is that I don't think Michael did it on purpose. I don't think he really...
Well, she says it's intentional, so that you don't agree with her.
I think that
no, just
he
a
was
second.
trying to scare...
So that you don't agree with her that it was an intentional act.
Well, from the looks of it, it looked like he was just trying to scare them, and unfortunately the dog did something
Well,
to
you
him.
told the police that he was just playing around.
Well, yeah, he was playing around.
Okay.
And he,
Playing around and a scratch don't add up to anything.
Your Honor, our dog Trixie plays tag with the kids frequently, when he is playing outside, which means when Michael runs with him, he jumps up and tags them, he licks them. He was playing tag with the other kids that day as well.
Whatever.
And
if you have,
Judge,
listen to me.
Okay.
If you have a 9-year-old and a dog, and you acknowledge to me in your answer, madam, that your son is told not to take the dog outside if you're not home. Is that right?
That is right.
So he disobeyed you.
Yes, he did.
And I assume that he was punished for disobeying you.
He was consequenced.
Whatever that means. I don't know what that means. Does that mean like a timeout?
No, that means he's been unable to play outside unsupervised at all.
But that's what happens. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think that this was an intentional act, and certainly if the child had been bitten and injured, the result here would have been different. Put your paper down. The result here would have been very different. I see no evidence that the child was bitten. I see evidence that the child had a scratch as a result of this unfortunate horseplay, which was really your fault. Do you understand that? You understand that? Okay. If you hadn't disobeyed your mother and either stayed in the house or left the dog in the house, all of this wouldn't have happened, right? So you have to learn that you have to do the right thing, not the wrong thing. As far as your counterclaim is what? Okay. What? So far you're not losing. What are you complaining about?
Well, I have more evidence on the counterclaim. She's slandered us to CPS. She's slandered us to the police department.
Let me see the CPS report.
This is actually the report from our therapist, and this is the CPS worker. She said
Did you
that
call
the
Child
report.
Protective Services about her?
It's in my answer. The date that this happened, they came to the door, my neighbor and the other person, and they said Houston was outside and that Michael had the dog bite Houston. I walked outside and I said to Michael immediately, Michael, go get your sister. She's not home. Michael, go get your mom. She's not home. Michael, are you alone? Yes. I called the police.
Why did you call the police? I don't
believe-
understand why you called the police. Your son had a scratch on his leg. Period.
The reason I called
Wait
the
until your
police-
neighbor gets home and discuss it with her.
I don't know when my neighbor's gonna be home.
Oh, madam, your case is dismissed. Listen to me. Totally, completely dismissed. I mean, I think your conduct that day as a neighbor was outrageous. And I would be more concerned about you two people supervising this child, because this child looks as if he's been through a war zone in your custody, all over his face, when he's been totally unsupervised by you. Maybe you just rely on Mrs. Contreras to supervise your children when they're outside. But he's 4 years old. And 4-year-old has had an accident on one day and a terrible accident on the next day, and a month before an accident outside, and you're nowhere to be found. So I would be more concerned about you supervising your own child. Your
We
son
do
was
supervise our
scratched by the
children.
defendant's dog. It was an unfortunate circumstance that did not require you picking up the phone as a neighbor and calling the police. It required you waiting, cooling down a little bit, and when she came home, perhaps go over to her house, give her a buzz and say, listen, something bad happened today. I want to tell you about it because my son got a scratch on his leg when your dog jumped up on him. Your son was not doing the right thing. Nobody was supervising him. And I want to tell you, if it happens again, I'm going to contact the authorities. If you wanted to do that, I would have no objection. But to call the police, you're outrageous. But I'm not giving any money. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Date on the calendar in the matter of Nelson versus Perry. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Mr. and Mrs. Nelson, the defendant is your former son-in-law.
Yes.
Married to your daughter. Is this
Yes,
your daughter?
ma'am.
They were divorced and they have children.
Yes,
How many
ma'am.
children do they have?
4.
Your lawsuit claims that, pursuant to the judgment of divorce, your son-in-law was court-ordered to pay 60% of, among other things, child care costs for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
children so that your daughter could work.
Yes, ma'am.
And that it was decided that you would be the child care providers for the children.
Yes, ma'am.
And that your son-in-law owes you for child care. Your daughter works off her 40% of the child care by working in your family business.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Son-in-law says the choice of child care provider was unilaterally taken away from him. And I'll get to his defense in a moment. When were you divorced, sir?
Last year, November 7th.
And at that time, was your wife employed?
Yes.
And who was watching the children at that time?
The hours were set up to where I watched them when she was at work and she watched them when I was at work.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Just a minute. And if there were ever any problems with babysitting, who babysat for the children?
Her parents or my mother.
Why don't you step up here for a moment?
Okay.
How old are your children?
I have a 3-year-old, twins that are 8, and a 9-year-old.
When did you make arrangements with your parents to babysit for your children?
While we were married, there was a lapse in between our shifts, and my parents would come out for an hour and a half until I got home. And then when he moved out, I needed them to come at 11:30 p.m. and watch them all night long until I got home at 9 o'clock in the morning.
When they came for that hour and a half, prior to the two of you separating, were they paid any money?
No, they used their gas and everything to come out there for nothing.
I just asked you. They weren't paid any money.
Sorry.
They came out to take care of their grandchildren.
Right, they did.
And then, when you were working at night, they would come to your house to sleep?
Right.
And you didn't ask for any money from your daughter, did you?
That was when we started being actually paid cash for the babysitting.
Who paid you cash?
Well, the logic of the divorce was Bill was to pay part of it and my daughter was to pay part of it.
Was that discussed with Bill?
It was court ordered, ma'am.
Oh, it was not court ordered that you were to be the babysitter. That's not what I asked you.
No, it was
I
not.
asked you, were you paid any money?
No.
And when was it that you began to be compensated?
When the divorce was final,
In November?
In November, and we had to take over watching the kids on a 40-hour basis.
When for the first time was it discussed with your former son-in-law that you were going to be babysitting for your grandchildren and expect payment?
I have never discussed that with my son-in-law as far as a cash payment, ma'am. When we were first babysitting for them when they were still married, the agreement was he would keep our vehicles in running order for our business because that was his line of work in exchange for us babysitting the children.
You mean you had actually an arrangement as far as that was concerned?
Yes, ma'am.
As grandparents?
Yeah.
You had a business arrangement, a
Yes.
barter arrangement. You would barter, he took care of the cars at the times that you filled in for babysitting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was your daughter doing for you in exchange for babysitting for your
She
children?
works at our donut shop.
What?
We have a donut shop. Sometimes she comes in and she'll fry, sometimes she'll ice. Other times, if our vehicle isn't running, we use her vehicle to deliver with.
Who had a conversation with him with regard to your taking over full-time babysitting responsibilities starting in January of 2001? You did.
Yes. Actually, Your Honor, my parents didn't start watching the kids again until the end of May.
May of what year?
This last year.
And what conversation did you have with your former husband about your parents taking over that responsibility?
At the time, he wanted me to let his girlfriend watch the kids. I didn't feel comfortable with that, and I found a friend that would watch it for $440 a month total, and he wasn't comfortable with that. That left me with no other choice but to go back with my parents. And I discussed it with my parents. They told me to tell him that if he would come over and keep the maintenance up on their vehicles, that would be the deal. He said no way. He refused. He got upset.
Well, you got somebody who was not related to you to take over the babysitting responsibilities, you know, during the overlap time for $440 a month. And your parents want how much? $1,000?
$880.
$880. Where did you come up with that figure?
Well, because we would have to drive to Star and watch the kids there. We would have to bring the youngest one back to our house so that we could continue taking care of the things we had to do. Then we would have to go back to Star to pick the kids up after school. And then we would have to go back to our place so that Tammy could come over and pick them up. And we would take the kids to all their doctor's appointments or anything they had to do at
You're
school.
their grandparents. That's what grandparents do. What was wrong with his fiancée?
Well, I have a letter that she gave me telling me my kids weren't wanted. I have him on tape telling me that he doesn't want to see his kids. And I went to pick him up one time when he had them for the weekend, and they were all in the house. Him and her were in the bedroom taking a nap, and my 2-year-old was 3 houses down by himself, heading towards a busy street. And I just didn't feel comfortable with her having them on
That's
a regular
good reason.
basis.
If that happened, that's a very good reason. You're absolutely right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Linda and Floyd Nelson say their daughter's ex-husband, Bill Perry, owes for his share of daycare costs. Bill says Linda and Floyd are the babysitters, and he doesn't approve.
Now, what was wrong, Mr. Perry, with this friend that she got to watch the children for $440 a month?
I do not know these people, Your Honor.
You may not know them. Did you say to her, I'd like to meet them? I'd like to meet this friend, spend some time with this friend before I agree?
No,
Did you
I did
say
not.
that?
No, I did not.
Why not?
At the time, I had my fiancée, which was willing to watch them.
That's not a good idea. So, Mr. Perry, while I am sympathetic with your position that your in-laws have overcharged the amount, I do think that you were being short-sighted and got a bug in your bonnet when you said, forget this stranger, because your former wife, who's the mother of these 4 children, I am certain would not want to leave the children with anyone who was not capable of babysitting for them. And just because you say, well, I have somebody who's going to do it for a lot less, my girlfriend.
Your Honor, Your Honor?
Yeah, I'm waiting.
I never claimed to not want to pay the person she has talked about.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have received a bill in the mail, I would have sent my money to them. I said I had somebody else that could babysit my
girlfriend.
Correct.
Listen to me, Mr. Perry. Put your hands down. Listen to me, Mr. Perry. If you said to your former wife, I'm married, I am in a solid relationship, we've been married for a year or two. She stays home. She likes the children. They like her. This is going to be a forever thing as far as I'm concerned. Let's try to save as much money as we can. My wife will take care of them. I assume that your marriage to your former wife was your first one. Is that right?
Correct.
It didn't work out 4 children later.
Correct.
Now you have a girlfriend.
Mhm.
There is even more of a likelihood that this isn't going to work out with your girlfriend forever. I think she is perfectly justified in saying, I don't want his girlfriend to babysit for my children. Put your hand down. By the same token, Mr. and Mrs. Nelson, I think it's overreaching. I think you're overreaching a little bit. I think that what you're doing is saying to your daughter, listen, come and put a little frosting on the cake every once in a while. You work off your 40%. We want to be good people. You know, we want to be good grandparents. But you really don't charge your daughter for her 40% of this child care bill. But if you had somebody to babysit for your children for $440 a month, he would be responsible for 60% of that. Okay. It's about $264 a month that he would be responsible for. That's pretty reasonable, isn't it, sir?
Yes, it is.
Good. That's what he's going to pay you for babysitting.
That's fine.
Good. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It's 8 months. $2,112. So from now on, Mr. Perry, if you don't want to get into any difficulty, it seems to me that you make those payments on time. She says, fine. Not they. I'm not interested in the plaintiffs. Your wife said that would be fine.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And she's the only one who is a party to the court order ordering you to pay 60% of the daycare. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So right now you owe them $2,112, and I suggest that you keep that money up every month as long as they take care of the children. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He didn't want to have anything else to do with her, nothing to do with the children.
If they would have sent me a bill on a daily or a month basis, I probably would have paid.
He's seen him 4 times in 6 months. I can't help it.
One of the children is not his biological child, and he has to pay child support and daycare on that child.
He hated her. He didn't want to see the kids.
Didn't go like I thought it would, that's for darn sure.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Schmidt versus Meads. Step forward, please.
27-year-old financial advisor Ray Schmidt is suing his former friend, 28-year-old waitress Christy Meads, for an unpaid loan of $1,000. Christy says they were much more than friends, and the money was a gift.
Mr. Schmidt, you claim a loan to the defendant in the amount of $1,000. The defendant acknowledges that you gave her $1,000. She said it was just that. It was a gift from a friend. So tell me when you gave her the $1,000, what it was for, and how you know her.
I originally met Ms. Mavis in early part of June. I was introduced through a direct selling company, and our relationship kind of grew from there. We did become friends. We saw one another at different functions, and the way it happened is she and I became friends. And
just social friends, not romantic friends.
No, just social friends. And
that's not true.
Just a minute.
Through the course of our relationship, she promoted my business, and she got me a few clients. I actually have a copy of the account apps for these clients that she helped get me.
Did you pay her for her service?
No, ma'am.
You never went out socially, is that right?
That's not true. We did go out socially, a group of us. After meetings, we would go to have cocktails after meetings.
How many people in this group?
Usually anywhere from 6 to 10.
So it was a large group. So you weren't intimate social friends? You never went out to dinner alone together?
Yes, we had.
Oh, you did that too?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times did you go out for dinner, just the two of you?
Never dinner, a few lunches.
But never dinner?
Never dinner.
Never dinner. That's fine.
Okay. So that, would there be any reason why she would perform a business function for you that was financially remunerative for you without billing you?
Yes, because we were friends.
So now let's get to the $1,000 and the why.
She wanted to open up a direct sales office in Las Vegas. And when she went to go do this, she was a little bit short on cash. So I offered, you know, let me loan you the $1,000.
Who brought up the amount?
I asked her, you know, how much do you think you'd need?
Okay.
So it was agreed that she would pay me $500 2 weeks because we got paid on a 2-week basis through this company, and then the other $500 the next 2 weeks after that.
And she went and she didn't pay you back the money?
No.
And that's why you're here. You have anything else to tell me?
I did, because she brought me these clients, I did, in fact, purchase a dress for her. It just so happened that...
That's the dress, I assume. I didn't know what that show and tell was. Go ahead.
So here's a receipt for that.
How much did you pay for the dress?
It was $64.86.
Okay. Now let's hear your version of the events, madam.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor? Put the schmata over there. Go ahead.
Okay. I did meet him through a mutual friend that brought him into our office. That's true. And yes, I did help him get clients because he was a very nice young man when I met him. He did try to pursue me in a romantic way, and he had a girlfriend at the time. So for quite some time, I wasn't taken by it. However, he told me that he broke up with her, which later I found out from her calling me that they never broke up. But I did bring in one of the loving cards he gave me as just a business friend, and I don't know if you'd like to read that.
I'd like to see it.
It's definitely not just a friendship card.
Ray, remember this card?
Shh. Yes, ma'am. I do.
Okie dokie. It's hard to find a love like this, a sharing love, an honest love, a love that's so rare, so beautiful. This is a business friend.
She helped me through a tough time. She had some books and some insight, and that was able to help me take my life to another level.
So you owed her a lot.
Yes.
Now, I read the card. Keep it going.
Yeah. So basically, when I was thinking about moving to Las Vegas, he offered to lend me this money. At first, I was like, no, no, no. And then he told me he believed in me, so he was going to give me this money. I came back to Newport Beach, and one of his friends told me that he was back together with Lana. Now, I'd pretty much talked to him every single day, probably a couple times a day. It was, you know, we had grown a relationship. I basically got very upset about it. I was out with him and one of his other ex-girlfriends, who I was actually helping him with for the business. Yeah, he stays friends with a lot of those. And she was one who told me that him and Lana were back together, and I was like, So basically, I just decided at that point I just wanted nothing to do with him anymore. And then I got a phone call from Lana who told me that they never broke up.
Let's go back a little bit. When you first started to speak, you said he offered to lend me this money. He offered to lend me this money. Now, I think that at that point, when you said that, you realized that you misspoke.
No, I turned him down.
What did you say to him?
I was a very proud person. I didn't want to take his money.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You said, I'm too proud, I don't want to take your money.
Yeah, I've never taken money from anybody.
And then what happened?
He said he wanted to give me $1,000.
Yes.
That was when he told me, I believe in you. And I told him, okay.
So what you're telling me is you're basically a very proud person. You've never taken money from anybody, but you were willing to take this as a gift, but not a loan.
Because I really liked him.
Miss Meaves, Mr. Schmidt may not be a very nice person. He may have deceived you. He may have deceived the old girlfriend. He may like to string along a lot of ladies at one time, but he loaned you this money. You know he loaned you this money. I now know he loaned you this money, and that the reason you decided not to pay him back this money was because you felt as if he was deceptive and didn't deserve to get it back. Because if I believe anything that you say, you want me to believe everything that you say. So if you tell me that you are a proud person and you never take money from anybody, then that kind of person would have said, I will accept a loan from you that I will pay back, but I'm not accepting a gift from you because that would mean that I was not a proud person.
Right.
And doesn't take anything from anybody. So I don't believe you. Anyway, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Frawley versus Shapiro. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Frawley, you and Mrs. Shapiro are next-door neighbors, I assume. Is that right?
That's correct.
According to your complaint, Mr. and Mrs. Frawley, the defendant's gardener caused some damage to a cover of a trailer that was on your property.
Correct.
And you want the defendant to pay for the damage to that cover. Additionally, you say that you were forced to put up 2 separate fences on your property, separating your property from the defendant's property, and you want her to pay for half the cost of those fences. That's what your case is about. The defendant has a cross-complaint that you maliciously cut down a branch of a tree that was very precious to her, and she says that you have been harassing her, so she has a counterclaim. So this sounds like a very untenable situation for people to be in, neighbors who don't get along. So let's hear about the problem with this tarp cover that was covering your trailer.
Well, on December 18th of last year, my wife and I returned home from work and noticed our travel trailer cover had sustained damage. We noticed or examined actually the height and the pattern of the damage and concluded that it was caused by the exhaust of a gardener's leaf blower.
It had burned like a 4-foot-long hole across the cover, and you could tell that it was a burn mark.
Let me see, you have pictures of it, I assume?
Yes, sure. That's it.
Okay, so you came home and you found these burn holes. What did you do?
My husband had seen our gardeners on our driveway before when he happened to be home from work a day when they had come, and he had asked them not to stand on our property because their backpack thing actually put some dents in our trailer. But when he mentioned it to them, they just kind of acted like there was a language barrier, like they maybe didn't understand.
So you had seen them standing on your property, blowing the leaves on the defendant's property through her property.
Well, I only observed them the one time, and there was an individual standing on her property and an individual standing on my driveway. And I asked the one standing on my driveway if he could conduct his business from her property, and he appeared as though there was a language barrier.
Right. Okay. So when this incident happened, though, I actually typed up a little note and put it in her mailbox, just asking her for the name and address of her gardeners, because they should have been the ones that we needed to address this issue with, and she chose to ignore my request.
You did receive this note?
I did. So when that went unacknowledged, I said...
Why, just a second, why didn't you acknowledge this letter?
I thought it was harassment.
You did? Why would you think this was harassment?
Because it's been going on for some time.
Prior to December 19th, when had the plaintiffs communicated with you?
I have a dog that I walk every morning. They had acquired a very small terrier, allowing it to go to the bathroom on my front lawn. I ran outside and asked her to never let that dog go on my lawn again, and she grabbed me. I thought that she perhaps would throw me to the floor, to the grass.
When was this, Mrs. Shapiro?
It was last fall. I can't tell you the date.
What month?
Well, we'll say November, October. I don't know exactly.
October, November. Prior to that, had you had any difficulty with the
Yes,
plaintiffs?
they cut the tree. I have pictures here. They cut the crown out of the tree.
When was that?
That was in June or July.
Okay, so you had the tree and you had the dog, months apart. But this letter is very clear. This letter says, please provide us with the name and address and phone number of your gardener because he has damaged our property.
I ignored it because I thought it was more harassment.
Okay, go ahead. What's next?
Well, then I sent her a certified letter return receipt, and she refused to pick it up from the post office. So then I sent one via regular mail so that I would have all my bases covered.
Okay, and you did, in fact, receive this letter asking for $280.25.
I didn't receive it as certified mail.
No, you received it as regular mail.
As regular
And did you
mail.
do anything after you received this letter?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, then we ended up putting up a wood fence just because we could tell that with no help from
the defendant, there was no way we were going to be able to protect our belongings from future damage without preventing them from walking on our property completely.
Let me see.
So this was the $1,400 we spent on the wood
I'm not
fence.
interested in the $1,400 fence. I'm interested in a picture of the
pictures?
fence. Okay, so now you have a fence up, so there's no more problem with the gardener.
Correct.
Good. That saves a lot of trouble. Nice fence. She's not going to pay for it. Put it up, you pay for it.
Okay.
What's next?
We ended up having to put up a chain link fence to protect the rest of our property because there was an incident where some stuff was stolen from the side of our house.
You don't think Mrs. Shapiro did?
No, I know she didn't do it.
Of course. So you put up another fence, and you also want her to pay for half of that fence.
Correct.
But that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll hear you, Mrs. Shapiro, with regard to these holes that were clearly burn marks. Did you discuss it with your gardeners?
I did discuss it with my gardener. I don't see my gardener. They come when I'm at work.
Well, then you have to be responsible for it. If you didn't make an inquiry to your gardener as to what happened, they have reason to at least believe, based upon what they had previously observed and based upon the burn marks that are in their tarp, that it happened as a result of leaf blowing and the hot exhaust coming out of the back of these machines. They asked you, please find out what happened. You clearly responded to them, I'm not doing anything. If you refuse to give them the information, they have no recourse but to sue you. Now I want to get to this tree business, because that's really what I consider the gravamen of your countersuit, which is that they cut down a tree that was on your property. Well, let me hear about it.
They didn't cut it down, Your Honor. They cut the crown out of the tree. That's the center part of the tree that grows the highest. It's a specimen tree. It's full grown. It was given to me by my nephew shortly after I moved into the house. This nephew is a very precious person, was a very precious person to me. He was dying of cancer, and he said to me, Aunt Jeanette, every time you go look out your front door, you'll remember me. And so to me, it became a symbol of a tree of life.
Well, let me see what they did, Ms. Shapiro.
This, the pictures, Your Honor, were taken on the early part of March after I received the summons to appear. The damage was done in June or July of last year.
What was the tree hanging over their property?
Some of the tree did hang over the property, but not that part of the tree.
We didn't trim anything that wasn't hanging over our property, Your Honor. Why would we trim the crown of her tree? That doesn't make any sense.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Karen and Brett Frawley claim their vehicle cover was ruined by neighbor Jeanette Shapiro's gardeners. Jeanette claims the Frawleys mutilated her tree.
Go ahead.
It was a full tree, and now it is in a V. It was even more drastically cut when it was first done. It's had it for 6 months.
Well, it grew back.
Yes, but the crown is gone. You can see the
that
V
may be,
there.
but if the crown was hanging over their property...
It was not hanging.
Well, I can't tell that. I can't tell that.
I understand that.
And if they did that in July, why didn't you register a complaint in July?
Because I thought this was just more harassment. I don't communicate with these people.
Why not?
Because she shouts at me.
Just a minute. You said, listen, in July, this was the first thing that you told me that happened.
It goes further back. It goes maybe a year or two further back, when she called me to her driveway and said to me, I want to talk to you, Jeanette. I walked over there, and she says, tell your gardener not to blow any leaves on our lawn.
So that's not harassment, Mrs. Shapiro.
I said, if you want to talk to the gardener, please, you have my permission to talk to the gardener at any time.
They don't speak English.
I don't know that they do or not
well,
speak
he
English.
said he tried to speak to them, and there was a language barrier. So I assume when he says a language barrier, it means that they don't speak English, because he speaks English. Very unfortunate. In any event, I have no proof that whatever they cut from your specimen tree was not hanging over their property. It's impossible to tell from these photographs. But since you refused to give them the information which would have allowed them to pursue your gardener, you have to be responsible for the damage yourself. You have the bill?
Yeah, it's in that letter. It was the original amount that we had asked her for, the $280.25.
Judgment for the plaintiff, $280.25. Thank you.
Excuse me one moment.
Yes, just a minute.
I'd like to show you a picture of my side of the fence. There are 3 signs that are posted on my side of the fence that say, keep out, no trespassing. That's on a front patio of mine. I would like to have those removed. That's right in direct line of my front door.
Well, maybe her gardeners know by now and we could take it down.
Well, then let's talk about that, because these two signs, keep out, private, posted, are really unattractive. So why don't you take the signs down? It would be nice. She would like that. Sure. And I can understand that it faces her front door and it doesn't look nice. It just looks like a nice neighborhood. Got it?
No problem.
I got it.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
That tree was a very, very precious tree to me.
We tried to be cordial with the neighbor.
It means a great deal. It was actually a tree of life as far as I'm concerned.
You live and learn, I guess.
And now the next case.
All parties on Denon versus Wildest. Step forward, please.
40-year-old poet Cheryl Denon is suing her ex-boyfriend, 38-year-old steelworker Thomas Avilas, for the down payment on a car. Thomas says the vehicle was a gift in return for teaching her to drive.
Ms. Denon, according to your complaint, you met the defendant while you were online in a chat room. And at the time you were married, you began a relationship, I assume, on the computer with the defendant. Is that right?
Correct.
And then there came a time when that relationship developed. You ended up terminating your marriage, or your husband terminated your marriage. And while you were in this relationship with the defendant, after you and your husband separated, you claimed that you loaned the defendant $2,500 as a down payment for a new used car.
Correct. That's not true.
Shortly thereafter, you decided that he wasn't right for you, and you terminated the relationship with him. You and your husband are now back together. You want your $2,500 back.
Correct.
When did you first begin to have this chat room relationship with the defendant?
I would say about December of 1998.
Okay, and when did you first meet him?
Possibly maybe 2 or 3 weeks later.
And when did you and your husband separate?
We separated in 1999.
When in 1999?
August.
At that time, did you begin a relationship with the defendant?
We had a relationship going on and off the whole time.
Okay.
And the reason for my husband leaving was because of that.
When did you give him this $2,500?
December of 2000.
When did you separate from him?
About 3 days before Christmas.
So within weeks of giving him the $2,500, is that right?
Correct.
And tell me about the conversations that took place prior to you giving him the $2,500.
Well, we discussed that we were, quote unquote, going to be a couple, and that he was going to teach me how to drive.
You didn't know how to drive?
No, I don't know how to drive. And he was going to help me regain some independence, which was good. And at first it was spoken that when I lent him the $2,500 that he was going to pay me back.
She said it was a gift.
Shh. Don't.
He said that he was going to pay me back when he got his income tax. Then, like maybe a few days later, we talked about, hey, well, we're going to be together. What's yours is mine.
Who said that?
Both of us.
So you said that?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did, Tommy.
No. You said that. You said you both said it. So you said it. What's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. Right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the way it works? I can't say it any other way. What's yours is mine and what's mine is yours? That doesn't even sound right. Okay. Did you have any discussion with him about the $2,500 when you decided to terminate the relationship?
Yes, I did. He came over to my house maybe before New Year's, and he had Christmas decorations in my window, and I was not home. He took all the Christmas decorations out of my house that he had put into my house, which I would have returned them to him anyway. I did not want to keep them, okay?
Okay.
And I had come home, and he was there.
Well, did you ask him at that point about your $2,500?
Yes, I did. And he said to me, don't ask me about that if you want to be friends with me. And I thought that was very stupid because I was not going to be friends with him when there's other circumstances why I didn't want him that I found out later through the relationship.
Okay. Mr. Avalos.
Yes.
Let's talk about this car. Under what circumstances do you claim that she gave you this $2,500?
Your Honor, we had a deal. You know, we had a car accident. We had mentioned in my car.
What do you mean we had a car accident?
She was in the car with me in my van, and we had a car accident.
But you were driving?
I was driving.
So you had a car accident?
Okay, well, she was in the car with me.
She was in the car with you, but you had the accident?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, so at that time, she made a suggestion, why don't you go buy a new car? And I said, where would I get the money for that? She said, well, look, let's make a deal. I will give you the $2,000 for a down payment, and you will teach me how to drive, and it'll be our car. I said, sure, that would be fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we go to the dealer, we pick this car out. I say, I really can't afford it. She says, look, I'll help you with the payments. I said, oh, you sure about this? She said, yeah. Now, she gave me $2,000. It wasn't $2,500.
I assume she's going to be able to show me that she took out or she wrote a check for
I don't think
$2,000.
so. No, she gave me cash. She gave the dealer cash.
I would assume you have the receipt for that. Does somebody have the receipt for what you gave to the dealer?
Sales slip has been returned.
To where?
To that dealer. When I took the car back, I took the car back saying
right,
I can no longer afford this car.
How much was the entire purchase price of the car?
$5,000.
Is that right?
Correct.
So on Christmas Eve night, I had a call from her husband stating the fact that she's back with him now.
Okay, so they're back together.
And he would be around to pick up her things. So they came around the 26th, picked up things that she had at my house. Her husband had stated on the fact that he was going to come around and pick up the things, said, keep the car. We don't want it. If they were going to pick up half the car or come and get the car, they would have came and said something to me on the 26th.
Did you just say they're going to come and pick
Well,
up
you know
half
what I'm saying. She
No,
would've-
no, listen to me.
Okay.
Look, you're not receiving.
Yeah, sure.
Did you just say to me that if they were going to pick up half the car, they would have come
I
and picked
meant
up
to
half the
say,
car?
if they were going to say anything about the car, he would have came around on the 26th and said, we want the $2,000 back.
All right. Mr.
They never did
Ravelis,
that.
listen to me. You just cooked your own goose. You said to me your agreement with the plaintiff was this was going to be your car as a couple.
Right.
And she was going to, according to you, put down not only $2,000, but also help you with the car payments.
But they told me to keep the car. They said they didn't want it.
They
said
don't
didn't
want the car.
Right.
They don't want the car.
So I took the car back.
What do you mean you took the car back? You never gave it to them.
No, I took it back to the dealership.
Fine. And what did you buy?
A cheaper car that I could afford.
How much did you pay for the cheaper car?
$4,000.
And how much later? 3 weeks after you purchased it?
Yes, about 4 weeks afterwards. It was in
You never
January.
like to say you're right. All
It was
right.
in
So
January.
4 weeks after.
Yes, Your Honor.
You brought it back. How much did the dealer give you for the $5,000 car towards the $4,000 car?
$2,500.
All this you don't have any proof of. You have no paperwork, you have no nothing.
I have the
know
owner's
you're coming,
card.
You know you're coming to court. You know, usually people bring paperwork when they come to court.
He kept the paperwork for the other car, so I don't have the
You
paperwork
make
for the new car.
copies. So if you have paperwork for the new car would have shown how much money he gave you for the old car.
True.
Good. Now you're getting better. So you used, according to you, $2,000 of her money to purchase this car that you are currently driving.
Yes.
And according to you, Mr. Ravelis, this was supposed to be your car as a couple, right?
Yes, but on Christmas Eve, she devastated me. She said she no longer wanted to be the couple, that she wanted
Well, how
to
do you
take the
think her
car
husband
back.
felt?
Well, he's the one that told me, he said, keep the car.
I wasn't talking about the car. I was talking about his wife.
They were divorced.
Because of whom?
Not because of me.
Because of the two of you.
Not really.
That wasn't because of you.
No.
When you started to
They
have
had
this...
problems long before I came.
Well, that's what she told you when she was talking to you in the chat room, but they were still married, right?
True.
True. All right. You got to give her $2,000 back. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. This is McCombs Pierce. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Pierce, the defendants are your daughter and son-in-law.
Yes, ma'am.
Your lawsuit consists of two parts. The first part has to do with an old debt, and that is a debt that stems from purchase of a washer and dryer. Several years ago, according to you, your daughter needed a new washer and dryer. You agreed to put it on your credit card, and according to you, the arrangement was that they would pay the credit card charges. You ended up paying for the whole thing because they were paying sporadically.
Yes, ma'am.
And they've never paid you back for that.
No, ma'am.
Second part of the lawsuit is you claim that sometime more recently, either or both of them used your ATM card without your permission and withdrew, I believe, $2,700?
It was actually just a little over 25, ma'am.
And you want that money back.
Yes, ma'am.
How much was the washer and dryer?
The actual purchase price was $726.
Okay. Who wants to talk?
I will.
Go. Let's start with the washer and dryer.
Washer and dryer, I was told that it was going to be a gift to us for our wedding.
Who told you that?
Sue and Chuck.
Really?
Yes.
When did they tell you that?
It was the day they bought it.
Did you ever tell them that?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Now, I don't care, sir, whether you didn't know that this was a loan because your wife didn't tell you, because I've got her answer. But don't lie to me, because clearly this was never given to you as a gift with a statement by your father-in-law that it was a gift because your wife acknowledged that it wasn't a gift. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, she may not have told you that at the time.
I found out about 2 weeks ago.
I understand that. But don't lie to me and say he told you it was a gift.
Well, him and his wife both told me that it was a gift.
Why would they tell you it was a gift when it was not?
I don't know.
Did you have some sort of an arrangement with your daughter not to tell him?
No, ma'am.
And what arrangement did you have with your father?
I had told my mother and my father both that I would make the payments, and then Mike and I ended up splitting up, and I could no longer make the payment.
So they bought the washer and dryer when?
Around the end of '97.
Okay. And you and your husband broke up when?
Around the beginning of '98.
Had you made the payments up until that time?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so?
And so I told him I could no longer make the payments, and I told him he could have it back if he liked.
Well, what was he going to do with it?
I don't know.
Whatever he wanted.
Well, how much do you think the store was going to give them for a used washer and dryer?
He was so
He could've
desperate to get
sold
it
it.
back. He had more than an opportunity to come and pick it up.
What was he supposed to do with it?
Whatever he felt like, he could have put it on top of his house.
What do you do
He
for a
wanted.
living?
I'm a delivery driver.
What do you deliver?
Newspapers.
I mean, don't you fail to see the logic in your response? Let me ask you this, sir. You own a car?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever own a car?
Yes, I have.
Did you buy it yourself?
Yes, I did.
Did you buy it new or used?
It was used.
Did you pay it off?
Actually, yes, I did.
So let's say you buy the car January 1st of 2000, and you buy the car for $1,000, and you drive it for 6 months, and you find that you can no longer make the payments. So you say, I'm going to take the car back. Now all the debts is cleared. That's it,
No.
I'm taking the car back.
I never had any written...
No. Just pay attention to what I'm saying to you. You think that that's what a car dealer does? Takes
No.
the car back and say, thank you very much, you couldn't afford it, we're really sorry.
No.
No, because once you take out a car, it depreciates in value.
Yeah, and I have a written agreement also with the car, not with the washer.
You don't need a written agreement, sir. You don't need a written agreement to have a contract. You can have an oral contract as long as there is an offer, which was made, and acceptance. That's what makes a contract. See, I just taught you something. Now, when did you get back with Mr. Charming?
And it was probably like 7 months later. 8
So
months
7
later.
months later, you got back together. Did you start to make the payments then?
I don't believe so, but I think it started in December of last year till either February or March. I was making payments to my mother of $50.
Is that right?
Every day.
I believe so.
So how much did she pay off in total? You have to tell me, sir. She sounds to me like she made a lot of payments.
Actually, probably, I would guess, probably $700 or $800.
That would pay off the washer and dryer.
Just a minute. That paid off the washer and dryer. If you're guessing. Did anybody keep receipts? Anybody keep money?
I don't handle the finances in the family, ma'am.
Well, who does?
My wife does.
Where is she?
She's at home at work.
Forget washer dryer, as far as I'm concerned. You did the right thing, according to your father, and if you paid off $700 or $800, he's guessing, and you don't have any records, I assume the washer and dryer is paid off. See, you're home free. Now, who took the ATM card?
I did.
Why?
Because me and my wife were in some financial problems.
Well, tell me how you took the credit card.
I got it off the kitchen counter.
You walked into your in-laws' house and you just took it off?
Yes.
Did you tell your wife about it?
Yes, she knew about it.
What did you tell her?
I told her that it was something that we discussed, and we put the
Tell
money...
me what the discussion was, Mr. McCombs.
That we would take their card, take the money out, and then put the money back as soon as we had it. And that's exactly what we did.
You stole money.
Yes, and I put it back.
You stole money. How did you get caught?
I guess he got his bank statements and noticed that there was a couple withdrawals on there that weren't from him.
Show me the money that was withdrawn by them.
Here's the copies of the actual bank statements. And the amounts are highlighted, ma'am.
How do you know that these are their withdrawals?
I'm a long-haul truck driver. I'm not home during the week. And as we determined, they were all done at approximately the same time.
I see. 7-Eleven. Is that where you took the money from?
No. Took it from Washington Mutual Bank, their bank, to avoid a surcharge.
Where did you take the money from?
Washington Mutual
I'm not
Bank.
asking you. Where did you take the money from?
I believe I did it once, and it was at 7-Eleven, I would believe.
Father agreed not to prosecute these charges. Is that right?
Apparently, yes.
What do you mean, apparently, yes? What does that mean?
We're here and not there, so apparently...
They're talking about a long time ago, madam.
Yes.
And what was the arrangement with your father with regard to him agreeing not to prosecute?
Mike made the arrangements with my mother. And my
Which
mom,
was?
Ask him.
I'm asking you.
That he would be responsible to pay them back the money.
Now, why isn't your wife here, sir?
She was unable to come down because of her job.
Is it possible she didn't want to come down here and confront her daughter?
Could have been.
Did you discuss that?
Yes, she was hoping to be kept out of it to save her relationship with her daughter.
Time to bring that.
Excuse me?
No, just a talk her and her mother had last night.
Which was?
Which is, if I didn't stand up, he would make my mother choose between me or him.
Who's he, your father?
Yes.
Parents been pretty good to you?
Her mother.
Her mother?
But she wasn't asking you.
That was the smartest thing I've heard you say. That was the smartest thing I've heard you say so far. You probably ought to say it more often.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Charles Pierce says his daughter Rose Pierce and her husband Michael McCombs owe for a washer and dryer. Charles also says they used his ATM card to steal money.
Now, your arrangement was that you would take responsibility. You have a memory lapse with regard to how much money you took out of your in-law's account. The fact that you stole from them and you knew that you were stealing from your parents is really an outrageous thing. I know that you probably paid a lot more in service charges and credit charges over the 726 with regard to the washer and dryer. However, Mr. Pierce, since you don't keep good records and your wife is not here, and since your daughter did in fact make an attempt